Continuing coverage on the impeachment trial of suspended Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Michaela Goose has been in the Capitol all week covering the trial. She's in Austin tonight with a recap on today's proceedings.
Thanks, guys. I have been in the Senate gallery all day long, and it has been one of the most telling days yet. Starting with new details from this afternoon's witness, Ryan Vassar. He is the only whistleblower who was fired from the OAG. He then joined a lawsuit against the office under the Texas Whistleblowers Act. He told prosecutor Rusty Hardin about Brandon Kamek, the special prosecutor hired by Attorney General Ken Paxton to deliver and execute subpoenas on behalf of Nate Paul. Vassar went into the unethical nature of this under-the-table investigation. It is not known whether Kamek is on the lengthy witness list put together by prosecutors and defense, but even so, he is a central figure in the majority of testimony so far. Now, tomorrow marks the end of the very first week of the impeachment trial of Attorney General Ken Paxton. Paxton still has not shown up to court since the first day when he entered his plea. We'll keep you updated on if that changes and everything else from right here at the Austin Capitol. Back to you.
Once again, 21 senators must vote yes on impeaching Ken Paxton. That same number can also dismiss all articles. Trial starts back up at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning before they break for the weekend. For more on the impeachment trial, visit our website, kltv.com, and our digital platform, East Texas Now.